Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I am actually creating an off-the-grid home and it's going to be a starter home. And we're building here in the world of Mount Komorebi. I was just trying to think of a place that I haven't built something that was off the grid before, and this is what came to mind. I have created a off-the-grid home quite a few times in Windenburg. For some reason, the first place I ever think of is the island in Windenburg. It just seems like the perfect location. Of course, you could also build these anywhere, but I think Eagle Lifestyle comes to mind. But I thought it would be really fun to build in this world, and this ends up being just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home that is so close to that 20K limit. I came so close. I was going back and forth quite a bit towards the end and deleting items and picking out cheaper ones. I really wanted this home to feel fleshed out and have everything you would need. For the most part, I didn't include a computer in this house, but I wanted it to feel fully furnished and like cute, but still be off the grid. So in the beginning of this, I do end up adding some like regular light bulbs and stuff throughout to see what I'm doing, but I do end up getting rid of those in the end and pretty much going by candlelight in this. I also add a couple of the solar panels to this lot. So if you are playing in this lot, you should be able to generate power to use some regular lights, but I wanted to make sure that this house was completely functional, just using items that are able to be used off the grid. So that was the whole idea behind this. I love these big windows that I used. Those ones are from Get Famous, and then the front door I'm using is actually from Eco Lifestyle, as are the solar panel that I have. The solar panels I'm going to grab, and the wind turbine that I just put on the roof. I used a lot of Show Live Edit objects for the landscaping to keep it free and, fit into our budget. A couple of the items I end up using are like a couple of simoleons. Like I end up putting some rocks outside that I believe are 4 simoleons. So not everything is free, but most of it is. And then I used this new wallpaper that came with the Book Nook kit to paint the outside of this build. And I just think it looks so beautiful. I was really happy with the colors I went with here, just like browns and beiges, and it just looks really modern, and I feel like it fit into this world quite well. So definitely let me know what you think of this build, and if you do like it and you would like to download it, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. That will also be linked in the description down below if it's easier for you to look at it there. And here are those solar panels I had mentioned, and then I'm trying to figure out some more landscaping. I wanted to get like a tree or a shrub or something in this corner, so I tried a couple of different options, but I went with this one in the end, and I just scaled it up ever so slightly using the tool mod, and then I got some lower lying bushes down here, and we should be heading inside here shortly, but I will come back outside to do some final landscaping towards the end of the build. I just wanted to get an idea of the outside before I went inside. But these are those rocks that are 4 simoleons, so I did consider getting rid of them later on when we were really tight on simoleons, but I ended up keeping them in the end, so I was quite happy about that. So inside, trying to figure out the floor plan, I thought if I raised up the windows over here, this would be a good spot for the kitchen, so I'm just kind of laying that out. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to afford all of the cabinets or not, or how I was going to do this. I hadn't looked at what items were actually off the grid yet. I just was trying to figure out a general layout, and it's pretty much the one I go for. I do extend the back of the house ever so slightly so I can move the bedroom backwards and then have a slightly bigger living space, and I think that worked really well, but figuring out the windows did take me a little while. I do really like these ones, though, that are from Snowy Escape. I think they worked nicely with the big windows that I'm using from Get Famous. So this is where that bedroom is going to go in the back. It's bigger than it is right now, or it's bigger than it's going to stay. It ends up being fairly small, that size. There we go. And then I was able to put the bigger window in the living room. I do end up having bookcases in here, a fully functional kitchen, a desk, a place to sit down with a comfy couch. Like, I feel like you have everything you would need other than a computer or a TV, because I wanted this to be off the grid, even if you weren't generating power with those solar panels. So I didn't include any of those electronics, but I do have a stove and a fridge in the kitchen, as well as everything you need in the bathroom. I had to figure out how to lay this out because I wanted a sink that functions off the grid, but also I wanted it to be more of a modern style, and pretty much all of the off the grid items are more like traditional and rustic. So it did take some fiddling to figure this out, but the sink from Tiny Living, which is for bathrooms, is off the grid, and I thought it was perfect. So I was just trying to figure out how to make that work in this kitchen. The stove is a little bit older, but at least it wasn't so stylized. So that's what I ended up going for in here. And the kitchen's a little weird, but I actually really like it. I think it was such a challenge to come up with a way to make this work, and I'm happy with how it came out in the end. Trying to figure out here how many of these windows I want to keep, how I can incorporate some like upper head cabinets. And I ended up just putting a couple on this wall and moving the window over to the corner and just painting the other walls. And we're going to come back to the kitchen later to decorate it. But for right now, I wanted to figure out the sofa, and I thought that this new sofa from the Book Nook kit was perfect. It's super cozy, and so I just paired it with a rug here. I actually ended up having 2 couches for a while, but towards the end of the build, when I was running out of money, I did change it just to 1, but I did like how it looked with 2, so that will be disappearing. I also got a couple of these paintings from Tiny Living with the leaves on them, and then this little desk from Snowy Escape back here. Like I said, it doesn't have a computer on it, but it's a nice little desk space that you could add a computer as your Sims earns more money. I also was able to fit a 2-seater table near the kitchen, so you have a place to sit down and dine. And I have a little plant and a candle on it. I just think it's so cute. I also used a lot of these wall candles from Cottage Living. I think they just look so nice in this space, and they give like a light glow to each area. So there's a little bit of light being added. So I have one of those in the bathroom, a couple in the kitchen, a couple in the living space. The bathroom ends up being the darkest space in the entire house. But I did add a big window here. I was thinking, there's not really anyone behind this house. So I figured that was okay, but you could get something to cover that up. I believe I actually added some blinds. They don't cover the whole window, but I liked the idea of it looking like you could close it. I also was able to wrap the new bookcases from the Book Nook kit around that big window in the living room, and I thought it looked so perfect and like meant to be. And then we're back in the kitchen decorating a little bit here. So I end up having some plates over in the corner, a nice hanging plant. Of course, I got some cutting boards in here, and I end up getting this shelf as well, which actually is like 400 something simoleons. So I wasn't sure if we were going to get to keep it, but we were able to keep it in the end. I was so happy about that. I think it's so nice to have extra decorations in a starter home. I don't think this home feels like a starter home. It's pretty small, but it feels fully decorated to me. Let me know if you agree on that. I'd be very curious to know. But outside, we're just trying to fit in an outdoor trash can. And I also wanted to have at least a couple of loungers out here. We have this nice deck space. I wanted to make sure we utilized it. But by doing that, of course, we went over our budget. So I'm going back inside and trying to figure out how we can remedy that and what to get rid of and what to keep, what we should add. So I ended up getting rid of that other couch, adding a little side table when you first walk in with a mirror. I also added a cork board over the desk and a little plant I should be adding there as well here shortly. And then in the bedroom, when we get back in there, I'm going to be deleting some of the lights because we didn't need 4 lights in there. I had the ones over the bedside tables, and then I also had them on the bedside tables. So I get rid of the ones on the bedside tables and end up putting like some books there instead, which is more usable anyway. And also these rugs from Snowy Escape are only 15 simoleons. So they were perfect for this house. I really liked that. It added a little bit more personality and decoration. So anyway, in the bathroom here, I was just looking at how much everything costs. And actually the very last thing I do in this build is decide we have just enough to add toilet paper. I wasn't thinking about it for a while because it's 50 simoleons. And when you're on a tight budget like this, maybe in The Sims they don't need it because they don't actually use it. It's just a decorative item in The Sims. So I did leave it out until the last second where we had just enough. We come out at 19,993 simoleons. So, it was really tight there. But anyway, that is it for this build. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thanks for watching and enjoy the screenshots. Bye, everyone.